face. Starring Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neal as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord, Elizabeth Walker as Carolyn Russell, and also starring Barbara Rush as Marcia Russell.
Rodney Harrington is being rushed to Doctor's Hospital, the victim of sudden paralysis. Months ago, he was thrown from a motorcycle. Today, there was no motorcycle. He was at home with his wife, Betty.
Well, forget the schedule. I want a complete cervical spine series. Let me know when you're ready. Right.
Shall we move them to the table?
No. Check X-ray. They're dragging their feet.
Yes, sir.
Well, Rod, what's this all about?
You tell me, Dr. Miles.
Betty, listen, are you sure there wasn't any fall at all?
Yes, I'm sure.
How about any trauma? A slight bump or...
No, nothing.
Dr. Rossi.
I have a call for Dr. Miles. It's his wife. She says it's urgent.
All right, hold on. Harry, that phone call's from your wife, and she says it's urgent.
I'll tell her later, Mike.
Tell Mrs. Miles the doctor will call her back later. All right.
Well, rapid but steady. Hey, they tell me you soloed in the therapy room. Did you try a repeat performance?
You told me I was going to be well. I can't move.
Well, I'm sure it can be explained.
Rod, listen, you didn't answer the doctor's question. I mean, did you try and walk by yourself?
I was sitting on the couch.
All right, take it easy now. Just let me know if you feel this.
No.
How about here? Feel that?
Nothing.
No, Betty, let the doctor take a look.
All right, let's try this side.
It's just like before. I can't move anything. I can't feel anything.
Oh, God.
Harry.
Yeah, you might as well. We won't know anything until we see the pictures anyway.
Dr. Rossi, how could it happen? I mean, he was better. How long do you think this will last?
Well, Betty, we have to try and find out what caused it before we can answer any questions like that. Now, that's where you can be of a lot of help, huh? Are they ready for him?
Another 5 minutes, Doctor.
Come on. Now, Rod says he was on the couch.
Yes, he was.
All right. Where were you before that?
Well, we were talking.
Betty, listen, a thing like this just doesn't happen without there being some reason for it. And either there's a physical reason or an emotional one.
Well,
now, what were you talking about?
Stephen, he'd been there.
Stephen had been to the house? What was he doing there?
He was there on business. He brought us some terribly disturbing news.
Betty, listen to me. You're not that naive. You know how Rod feels about Stephen. I mean, you know how much harm he's caused in the past.
No, it wasn't his fault, not this time.
All right. Tell me what happened exactly after Stephen delivered this disturbing news.
We talked about it.
Talked or argued?
No, we didn't argue, not really. I mean, we both were a little tense, but there was no fighting.
What was Rod's attitude after Stephen left?
It was fine. Well, you see, we had this misunderstanding about the money, and then it was over. He smiled, and he said he understood everything. Dr. Rossi, that couldn't bring this on, could it?
Yes, it could have very easily brought it on.
No.
Betty, listen to me. You see... Oh, Harry.
Oh, hi, Mike. Well, Rogers is prepping him for X-ray. I couldn't find any obvious malfunction, but of course it's too soon to tell.
Harry,
anyway, we'll know more after the
you
pictures.
could be dealing with a conversion reaction here.
Dr. Rossi, now, would you explain that? I don't understand.
Well, it's a paralysis brought on by some severe emotional trauma. It seems as if there was an emotional confrontation that may have triggered this reaction.
Well, that's something to consider after we rule out physical causes, anyway.
You mean it could be caused by something physical?
Yes, it could be.
Dr. Miles, telephone on line 2.
Probably Al. I
Dr.
better give her a
Miles,
call. Excuse me, Mrs.
telephone
Harrington.
line 2.
See you in X-ray, Mike.
Right, Harry.
Dr. Rossi, that other reason, the one you were talking about, now, that's just a possibility, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the only one that makes any sense, Ben. Oh, excuse me.
I don't know. I just don't know what he'd say.
My dear, I've never noticed before, but you have very pretty legs. That's what he'd say.
Not Mr. Riggs. It's way too short. And this bow. Oh, I can hear him now. Maggie, he'd say, a woman should dress and act her age. You can't turn back the clock. It's the Lord's will.
Mm-hmm. The Lord's or Mr. Riggs?
Why, Rita.
Well, you can, you know. There's no law against it. Besides, it's a perfect color for you. It's just right. We are going to take it. Would you just put it on Mrs. Riggs' bill and she'll wear it home?
Oh, no, my dear, I wouldn't have any use for it.
Oh, yes, you will. It's for a social occasion.
Friday nights back home, I used to sit out on the front porch and watch the children going by. On their way to Mr. Finley's barn, that's where they used to hold all of the dances. Did I say children? Mm-hmm. Well, you know what I mean, Rita. I mean folks of your age and Norman's. Oh. And the girls used to wear such pretty things. Feminine and light and colorful.
Here you are.
Oh. Oh, my.
I think we've done very well. We've bought you a whole new wardrobe. All you have to do is endorse your check and she'll cash it for you.
Thank you. I don't know what's come over me, all those new things. I never spent so much money in my life.
Feels great, doesn't it?
I'm afraid it does.
Afraid?
Here. Thank you. There.
Here's your change.
Oh.
And thank you. I'm
Thank
sure
you.
Mr. Riggs will just love your dresses.
I don't see how he could object.
Why, Rita.
Come on.
Thank you, Mrs. Riggs.
Thank you.
Thank you. And come back soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You're going to look terrific.
I don't know. Everything's relative, you know. We had a neighbor lady once that splurged on store-boughts, and Mr. Riggs said that she looked like a peppermint stick. Where are we going now?
We're not finished with you yet. Something's got to be done about your hair.
Oh, I've spent quite enough money already.
No, it's going to be my treat. We're going to buy all this stuff, and then I'll fix it myself.
At my age, what good'll it do?
Mrs. Riggs, my dad once said to me, Rita, it's never too late to live a little. Just takes courage. Come on.
They're upstairs.
What kind of a girl is she? Did you find out anything about her?
Well, not really. I talked to her and I asked her some questions, and I can't explain it, but I'm so ashamed, Harry. I'm so mad.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Do they really intend to get married?
Well, that's what Lou said.
How far gone is she? Did you find out?
3 months. And Harry, look, I didn't want to call you at the hospital, but I just couldn't handle this by myself.
It's okay. It's all right. Now, look, what about Lou? Does he love the girl?
Well, I just don't know. I couldn't...
Hi, Dad.
Hello.
This is Vicky Fletcher.
Oh. Vicky?
Hello.
Hello. Oi.
Fine.
Good.
We heard the car pull up. Didn't want to hide upstairs.
No, certainly not. Come in, sit down. Why don't we all sit down? Come on, darling. Sit down. Well, looks like family conference time, huh? Remember, Lou?
Oh, yeah, sure do.
Oh, this is what you might call doing our own thing. We get together every now and then, talk things out. Equal time, you know. It's been a long time.
Dad, I know this is kind of sudden, but...
Vicky, you like the country?
Oh, yes, sir.
Cold air coming down from the mountains is a little different from the cold air coming down from the avenues, isn't it?
Sure is, sir.
Well, I'm a city boy.
I know, Lou told me.
Yeah. But I'm a country boy now. Oh, honey, why don't you offer Vicky some cake or milk or something?
I already offered.
Well, maybe later.
You know, my father used to say that a young marriage is a good marriage. Tends to settle a man down, you know. Of course, I don't know that he was thinking about one this young.
Well, isn't that a question of maturity, Dad?
You're absolutely right. You know, some men are children at 30, others are knowledgeable at 20. You're 17, son.
Well, that's just a number.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Vicky Fletcher. Like your looks, Vicky. Very pretty.
Thank you.
Lou always had good taste. Didn't he, dear?
Oh, yes.
Vicky, what does your parents think about you getting married?
My parents?
Well, Vicky doesn't live with her parents.
Oh, I see. What part of New York are you from?
Harry.
Oh, okay. I don't mean to sound like a district attorney or anything like that.
That's okay, Dr. Miles.
You know, one time we were having one of our family conferences, and, Lou was just a little fella at the time. And Cliff's voice was changing. Cliff's our other son. He's in Vietnam. Lou called the meeting. His allowance was 50 cents a week, and Cliff's was $2, and he felt the difference was too much.
You know, you were upset about that? You said they'd never learn the value of money like that.
Yeah, Cliff almost had a fit. He thought you were going to cut him down to $1.
But it worked out.
Yeah, it got me my raise to $1.
Yeah. And Cliff kept his, too. And we settled the family crisis.
Well, that sounds like a nice family. I'm pleased that I'm going to be a part of it.
Very sweet of you, Vicky. Very sweet. Lou, I think you and I have a few things to discuss, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right.
Why don't we just go on up to your room, huh?
Okay.
Alma, honey, why don't you show Vicky the cake? Maybe she'll change her mind.